Joshua, pronouns are he, him. What cryptid do you hope most exists? And what cryptic do you think actually exists? Hello there, Joshua, sorry. I just shortened your name because I'm a Jonathan and I do that all the time. So do you have one that you believe in?
You can call me whatever you need to. Now,
nice.
Yes, I have two. Well, I'm going to give you two real quick. Two that I hope exist. Since, big fan of our Cornwall brethren in the UK, I hope that Owlman actually exists. And then from Australia, I hope the Burundjor or the Australian raptor actually exists. It's mainly a meme by creationists, but I still think it's funny, and I think it would be great if it actually existed. What I do believe exists, 1,000% the beast of Broadmoor, 1,000% that exists. Mongolian death worm, 1,000% it exists, just not 60 feet long and 20 feet high.
Wow. I can't say I've ever heard of either of those.
Wow. So I'm just curious, Joshua. I'd like to hear, I guess, a little more on, because you seem really convinced. Mm-hmm. And I guess if your question, was specifically asking us which ones we believe in, I'm not sure I believe in any of them. To be perfectly honest, it sounds like a whole host of villains from the Marvel universe, from just the way you're describing them. I don't mean that offensively, but it sounds very outside of my understanding of reality. Or maybe I'm making some dangerous assumptions. So I'd love, if we have time, John, just to hear a little bit more of what exactly this is. When you talk about a cryptic, I think of that more as an adjective. So I think of cryptic passwords. I think of cryptic questions. I think of cryptic phrases. So this is a cryptic what? I'm guessing not Marvel villain. And again, I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean it inquisitively. But then I'd also like to hear more when you say you're absolutely convinced they exist. What is it that convinces you? Because I haven't seen any or heard of any.
I would always say, please dare to assume. But the only reason why the Beast of Broadmoor, I am certain exists because of the Dangerous Wild Animals Act in 1976. There were a few families that had domestically owned exotic animals like pumas, European lynx, different varieties of large cat that they just released into the wild. So obviously there would be a sighting of one of these creatures. So that's where, now, do I believe they have like a breeding population? Absolutely not. I believe probably already
Joshua,
no longer existing.
Sorry to cut you off, but I have a clarifying question here real quick. So did I hear you correctly? Am I understanding correctly that the beasts of, did you say beasts of Broadmoor, something like that?
Yes.
So
they're Britain.
That they are simply nothing more than a group of maybe we'd say predators, pumas, panthers, etc., that were released in the suburbs?
This is actually back in the UK, though. The Beast of Bodmin Moor is a UK thing. And I'm going to tell you, I'm from the UK. There are no big cats wild in the UK. The biggest...
They did capture them. They did capture
Well, yeah, there was things in like zoos and circuses way back when.
No.
There's actually
like in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
1980, Scotland 1980. They caught a wild puma that was released because it was an exotic.
Oh, I see.
So that we have actual evidence that there were wild cats that did exist that were released from these enclosures. So we do.
They're not really cryptids though, because they are existing creatures. So.
Agree. That's why I say I welcome for you to assume, because some of these may not exactly be cryptids. They do exist, but cryptid, no.
I mean, I want to hear more about the two that you initially spoke about. And I'm gonna quickly answer. What cryptid do I most hope exists? I'm a big fan of a adult animation and Man Bear Pig. I really hope that if there's any cryptid that I would hope exists, would be Man Bear Pig.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Al Gore.
you know, Joshua. Yeah, exactly. He would.
I'll also take this opportunity real quick, Joshua, to apologize. I misheard you. It has become clear to me that you were describing cryptid, not cryptic. And so I do apologize. I'm come from more the Yahweh variety of mythic background. And so
Exactly.
Continue on. I apologize for my ignorance.
No ignorance. I gave it to you cryptically, so it's okay.
Love it. Continue on, brother.
Berenjor. Now this one is kind of out there. It's the idea of the sightings of an Australian dinosaur. So specifically,
right.
It could be a raptor, could be a T-Rex, even though we have no evidence fossily that they existed ever in Oceania. But I'm holding out that these few creationists are correct. I'm holding out for it. We just need the evidence part. That's all we need.
Right.
We just need that.
Nice sure. And I think that's true for a lot of things. We just need the evidence of it. But maybe this Australian cryptid could be like a bald cockatoo or something,
Well,
it's dinosaur-like.
When they were talking to the indigenous population describing it, some of the stories they got were like of a very, very large, like river monitor, like a huge lizard.
Oh, okay.
That's a strong possibility. I just hope it's a raptor. I mean, it would just fit Australia pretty well too. Just saying.
Yeah, wouldn't it just? We've all seen Jurassic Park.
Well, everything's out to kill you in Australia, just not
That's true.
Ironically.
Hey, look, I found that about some parts of America as well. I'm not from here, but I live here, and I live in Kentucky.
It feels like everybody wants to kill us here.
Yeah, right.
See, we actually fear them. But see, in Australia, like I had some friends telling me about nightly news reports to make sure you flick your mail so that way you don't get bit by the wolf spiders. Those kinds of. We don't get those news reports here in the United States. Like where there's actual dangerous animals you need to watch for on a daily basis. Like if you're going to step in the shower, make sure you shake out that shower curtain for any of actual dangerous wildlife that will get you. We don't have those kind of reports.
Right.
This is why I live in Minneapolis. Okay. There's no dangerous snakes. The most dangerous snake we have is the garter snake. The most dangerous spider we have is a daddy long legs. It just.
Here in the South, there's all kinds of wonderful creatures waiting for you around every corner, waiting for you when you lower your regimental institution. They're waiting to love you.
I do. When I go to sit on the toilet, I check. I'm like, is there going to be a snake or something there?
Do you really?
I do. I'm terrified.
If you live in Florida, you probably do want to do that check. I'm just throwing it out.
Yeah. I've heard that,
but of course it's Florida,
Yeah, that's fair. Kentucky, not so much. I don't think a copperhead's going to come out of a toilet to bite your butt.
No,
I was in Alabama for the last couple of weeks, and nobody warned me of these toilet bowl monsters, these toilet bowl cryptids. Nobody warned me.
Just listing off your friends in Alabama, you have the eastern diamondback rattlesnake, you have the copperhead, you also have the black rat snake, you also have. So the black rat snake's not venomous, but they're kind of feisty. They're ornery. You also have, dang it.
Okay, we need to end this call right now. I'm getting way too freaked out. Okay.
Yeah. But thanks, Joshua.
I'm an avid camper, hiker, and naturalist, so I know a lot. I know what to look out for in a lot of places.
And hopefully, you carry around antidotes for being bitten by things as well.
Well. I just have faith, brothers.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's where.
Well, as long if that's the case, well, then no worries about anything. So
right.
Pick them up, handle them. It'll all be good. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark
there are some churches that do that, right?
The only other cryptid I hope exists is Owlman. Now, this also is one with really
What is
scant
this?
evidence. It's from our friends in Cornwall in the UK.
Those you can't trust them. No, you can. They're lovely.
We can't-
People in Cornwall are lovely. They're fine.
Marvelous. There was an enormously anthropomorphic owl seen upon a church within the I think it was like Mawman district or whatever. But anyway,
Right.
which is an enormous owl type man. I just got
Wow.
I doubt it.
So, Joshua, I'm curious. So, for some of the conversation, maybe even bordering on most of the conversation, it kind of almost feels like we're just kind of like joking and fantasizing. And wouldn't it be cool if, or at least that's how my potentially, maybe possibly naive ears are hearing it. So, to what extent do you, so Owlman, to what extent do you actually believe that Owlman is real?
I think it's a very large barn owl, which is very normal to Cornwall in the UK.
Yeah. Barn owls are everywhere in the UK. Everywhere.
They're huge. They're also enormous.
Yeah. Well,
So, I have hopes, but on the believe percentage, meh.
if belief could be quantified with a sound, meh is now my favorite.
So,
the only other
so when you say, here's how my, again, completely ignorant eyes in this particular conversation function, when I hear you say, well, there are very large owls in this area, that almost sounds like you're saying it's nothing other than an owl, and they tend to be large and people look at it and they think it looked kind of human-like, but that at the end of the day, it's really nothing more. I believe in it, but it's really nothing more than an actual 100% owl.
I will never doubt the people of Cornwall, and I will never have them riots in the streets.
Okay.
Listen,
Our hopes of Owlman.
they.
I will say that I am somewhat skeptical that there will
That's a good way to be.
inside.
But
there.
I'm not sure if we can trust the people of Cornwall because they get their jam and cream backwards to the people of Devon on their scones. So,
but
the
only other piece, the only other piece of information I have: Mongolian deathworm. There have been red serpents found in Mongolia within the deserts.
So are they worms or serpents?
It's weird because they're called actual worm snakes.
Okay.
Or worm lizards. I'm sorry, it's a worm lizard. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. Worm lizards, because they're mistaken for snakes because of how long their bodies are and how small their appendages are. But they come in a very dark red, sort of maroon color that I remember. So yes, worm lizards.
There's something very similar in the UK, and this isn't supernatural. This is real. I don't live there anymore. They have a creature called a slow worm, and it's called a worm. It looks like a snake, but it's a lizard. Has no legs. And I've seen plenty of those things. So that, maybe that's a cryptid of some description, a legless lizard snake that's called a worm.
But yes, that's what I think. Obviously, it's not 20 feet long and 6 feet tall or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe that. It looks dangerous.
I tell you this.
Probably not.
I'll tell you this, fam. Is if we're ever in the same city, I'm absolutely taking you for drinks. So let me know if you're in Minneapolis or anywhere else I am, because I sense an unending lineup of fantastic and fantastical stories.
I want to be in there as well. So just invite me along, because I feel like we'd have a great time.
You find gentlemen can buy me all the beer you need to.
There you go. Done.
Deal. You keep the stories rolling and I'll keep the beers flowing. How's that?
I shall give testament to the opportunities that this world has to offer. Absolutely.
That's great.
That's awesome.
I'm still holding out hope for Man Bear Pig after all this. So thanks, Joshua.
Man Bear Pig. If it doesn't exist, I will make sure to present or manufacture the evidence for man bear.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
I will post it somewhere. Just tell me.
Photographic evidence of man bear pig. That's what the world needs. Well, thanks for the call, Joshua. That was very entertaining. We appreciate you calling in with that.